to the Quick Kick Picks presented by Bros Talking Soccer. My name is Dave Knittel, and I'm here with my brother Christian to talk about MLS Match Week 27. Christian, hello, how are you doing?
Hello, Dave. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing swell as well. It is Friday. Green. Oh, yeah, different shades, but still the same color palette. And we always plan that ahead of time, everybody. We put a ton of preparation and work into these videos just for you guys, and hopefully you enjoy it. Christian, you ready to talk some MLS during the international break?
I'm ready to talk and chalk.
Okay, good. Talk and chalk. And
you said chalk.
Writing on a chalkboard is one of those pet peeves that I can't do. Yeah. I just don't like the sound of chalk on a chalkboard. Anyways.
Wow. I'm going to tell Mom you said that.
A Quick Kick Picks video where we're talking about what's happening MLS Match Week 27. Refresher, if it's your first time watching, hello, welcome. If you are a repeat listener, this will sound familiar to you, but we play a Quick Kick Picks game to go along with this video. If you get the home team score correct, you get a point. If you get the away team score correct, you get a point. If you get the result of the match correct, you get a point. Christian, what happens if you get all three of those correct?
You get 2 bonus points, so there are 5 points up for grabs in every single game. So there's a lot up there. And I think, how many games are this week? We got 5, right?
25.
So that's a lot of points.
There you go.
A lot of points to catch up on.
Yep. Well, this is the first week in September, so you don't need to catch up with anything. You can get off the block,
front,
right?
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Well, wow, we just are speaking so great today. But yeah, I didn't say, leave your comments if you're watching on YouTube, or preferably tweet at us at BT Soccer Pod and get those predictions in. We also break this video up into each individual game. We restrict it to about 2 minutes. So I have a timer here. It's going to go off after 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Twitter restricts our videos to 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And so you'll hear a whistle, maybe, I don't know. The phone sometimes likes to be quiet. You might or might not hear a whistle, but we try to keep these to 2 minutes each game, and that's a little explainer there. So if you're watching on YouTube, I already said that. If you find us on Twitter, this video, what is the right way to say this, Christian?
Well, this part of the video won't be on there, so.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to respond to just each individual game. You can send us all 5 games in a block. That is what I'm trying to say here as I stumble over my words. Last little PSA for me. I've been getting a lot of feedback when I try to say specific players, so no more specific players for me. I'm going to stick to hard numbers, more big picture things, and go with that. Christian, are you ready to get going?
I'm ready, and I also just want to say hello to our returning listeners, because you only said hello to the new guys.
I said hello to hello to the new people, or to the returning listeners as well. And if you happen to be watching this live, we are not ignoring you. Because we restrict ourselves to 2 minutes and 20 seconds, we're going to fly through each of the games. I will see your comments, and we'll circle back on them at the end of the video. So I'm not ignoring you, but we got to do it for time's sake. Christian, are you ready to jump into things?
Couldn't be more ready.
Kicking things off on Saturday, September 7th, we have NYCFC hosting the New England Revolution at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what are you expecting to happen?
Well, I expect a lot of stuff to happen in this one. This is a really interesting matchup with a New England team that is in form and really gunning for those playoff spots. Yes, they're in there right now, and they want a home game. They're going to push for every single game, every point at this point. And they're going to a place where NYCFC have been very good at home. They have an extreme home field advantage because of the stupid little field that they play on at the Yankee Stadium. But I expect New England to come in there, and with the players that New York are missing this week, I expect it to be a very, very, very tight game. And I think I'm going to predict a 1-1 scoreline in this one.
All right, fair enough. So NYCFC, they're smoking hot right now. They've won 4 straight and they haven't lost at home since July 7th, and that was also their only home loss all season. They have a plus 13 goal difference at home in 13 matches, and they're gaining 2.2 points per game on average at home. That's one of the best MLS records at home in the entire league. But Christian, you touched on it. They're going to have a lot of players out due to either injury or international call-ups. So I don't know how much we can really put stock into these numbers. Now, New England, meanwhile, historically, they've had a better of this matchup. They should have more of their first choice players available for this game. They are 4 straight games unbeaten. They haven't lost on the road in MLS since May 8th. That's 7 straight matches for New England on the road where they haven't lost. Road numbers don't look great overall for New England when you're just looking at them, but that's because they were absolutely atrocious under Brad Friedel. If you take out his last 2 matches in charge, which the club lost by 5 goals each game, so they were -10 over those 2 games. The club actually has a positive road goal difference if you take out those 2 games. The KXG are shots-based. Homemade expected goals model has this one 1.62 to 1.13. I think New England gets the upset with so many players missing for NYCFC and actually wins this one 3-1 to New England. Anything else?
Wow, big result there from Dave. I think that would be huge for the Union and devastating to the New York's race for the title, but yeah, I'm going to stick with my 1-1.
There you go. Next game we are talking about, we have Orlando City hosting LAFC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday as LAFC looks to bounce back. Now, Orlando has lost 2 straight and they're winless in their last 3. They're fading out of the Eastern Conference playoff picture. They're not the greatest home team either. They have a 0 goal difference at home and they're only gaining 1.4 points per game at home. That's not great. Seems like they can surprise teams, though, this season. They've gotten up for some of their bigger games, but I find this team so tough to predict what they are going to do. Now, LAFC, meanwhile, I'm very interested to see how they bounce back, and specifically what they do with their lineup. Is Carlos Vela going to be playing here? How's his hamstring? I don't know, and so that's going to be something to look out for. They didn't display a ton of confidence with their performance against Minnesota without him. LAFC, they're winless in their last 2. It's only the second time all season where they've gone 2 matches without a win. They're still the best road team in the league. They're scoring 2.4 goals per game on average on the road. Our homemade shots-based expected goals model has this one 1.37 to 1.55 in favor of LAFC. I think LAFC rights the ship here and wins this one 2-1. Christian, what are you expecting?
Yeah, so if you had the top 11 for both of these 2 teams, it's a pretty obvious result that we're going to see there, but that's probably not the case with international duty and just number of injuries like you touched on. If Vela's playing, that makes a big difference to this team. I expect him not to play, and so that's what I'm just going to go off of right now. And I'm assuming this game is going to be very, very tight. I think LAFC still are the better team, even without Vela in there, but they just didn't look right at home against Minnesota, and I expect that to continue a little bit. Yes, they're not going to lose this game, but I think I'm going to go with another draw in this one and say Orlando gets an early goal and LA have to try and catch up, and I'm going to go with 1-1 scoreline again here.
All right, interesting there. For those who don't know, we are recording this on Friday, so more than 24 hours before this game will actually take place. So just a little disclaimer there, and that's why Christian doesn't know exactly what's going to happen with the lineup. So just wanted to provide that little context for you.
Thank you.
Go enjoy. You're so welcome, Christian. Next game we are talking about, we have FC Cincinnati hosting Toronto FC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what are you expecting?
Cincinnati, my lord, what has happened to you? I just think that this team has obviously no hope for this year, and they're going to just need to start to look forward to next season. So this is where it starts. You just try and get results as much as you can, see what players you want to keep and what players are pretty much useless to you, which is about 90% of your players. I think that Toronto obviously have the talent advantage. They haven't particularly been great on the road, but I think this is a game that is not really challenging to them on the road. Probably the easiest road game that you could play this season. And I think this is a time where Toronto, who are they 8th, I think, right now, and they're really trying to push for the 7th. Okay. Yeah. So obviously they're right on the borderline of playoffs. They're going to want that spot. They're going to be a really tricky opponent for whoever gets them if they make the playoffs. And I think that this team gets the result on the road. I think I'm going to go with a 3-1 scoreline here for Toronto.
I agree with you on that scoreline. You touched on it. Cincinnati, 3 straight losses for them. They're winless in their last 8 matches. They have 0.8 points per game at home. That is worse in the league, pretty much by far. They did, however, make life difficult for Toronto when these 2 sides met, and they were on the road. So they were at Toronto on July 27th. Can't really see that happening again here, though. Toronto, they kept their U.S. impact players, so Bradley and Altidore, they're not with the national team. I don't know if either is going to be playing in this match because we are recording about 24 hours before it happens. But I think that they will benefit from keeping some of those players. It's really now or never for Toronto. I expect them to solidify their playoff spot in the East with a road win here. They come out lackadaisical like they have in recent weeks, though. Specifically, they were not very good against Montreal to start. I wouldn't be shocked if Cincinnati takes an early lead and then Toronto sort of roars back. KXG has this one, homemade shots-based expected goals model has this one 1.39 to 1.13, actually in favor of Cincinnati. Going to ignore that and say Toronto ultimately wins this one 3-1 after a little bit of a comeback. Anything else?
Yeah, this model really favors home teams a lot, and this is not a game it should be.
Yep. Well, it's shots-based. Anyways, next game we're talking about, Colorado Rapids hosting the Seattle Sounders at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I go first here. So Colorado won at the Red Bulls last weekend, and that was not something I think anybody really expected to happen. They played a semi-rotated lineup in that game too, but Robin Fraser won in his debut. That's a big congrats to him. At this point, I expect Colorado to be building for next year, and I wouldn't be shocked to see some lineup rotation, Frazier giving some time to guys so he can evaluate them, and so that's what I'm basing this prediction off of. From a stats perspective, Colorado is an okay home team. They're picking up 1.4 points per game, and they have a +1 home goal difference. It's not great, but they have won their last 2 home matches, and they're returning home after a 4-match road trip, so they're going to be relieved at being home. They might get a little bit of energy from that. Seattle, meanwhile, they won a wild 1 versus the LA Galaxy last weekend. They're up to second in the West, but they're still not convincing me with their performances. They're also going to be missing a number of players with international duty. They did beat the Timbers on the road in their most recent road game, but their only prior impressive result on the road was against the Chicago Fire in March, and they have a -7 goal difference on the road. Homemade shots, I'm just going to predict this one to ultimately end up 2-2. Christian, what do you expect it?
Yeah, I expect goals in this game, and the Seattle defense did nothing to inspire in that last match. I watched that LA game, and the Galaxy and the Seattle both were just scoring goals at will. Seattle really have to start to pull themselves together defensively because Colorado are a team that can score goals. We see it over and over again, and even at home, obviously they're better, but on the road, they've been scoring goals too. So I expect them to come home after the 4 games away, like you touched on, and get the energy from the fans. They haven't seen their team play at home in quite some time now. And I expect this one to be very, very tight, but very, very high scoring. And I think I'm going to go one further than you here. And I'm going to go with a 3-3 draw for the Colorado-Seattle game this week.
I like it. Homemade shots-based expected goals model has this one 1.5 to 1.19 in favor of Colorado. Last match we are talking about on Saturday, or really the whole weekend, the Portland Timbers are hosting Sporting Kansas City at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's going to happen here?
Yeah, so Dave got to see the Timbers last week in person, so yeah. I'm sure that was a great experience for him, but I think this is going to be another great experience for the home fans this week. I don't think SKC come in here and really make any noise at all. The Portland Timbers are a better team. They just hands down are at home. They have an incredible atmosphere, and I expect them to be up for this. They're fighting for their playoff lives at the moment, and this is one of the biggest games that they have left. SKC, I don't know if they're really in the race anymore, or if they're just right on the verge, I guess. So this is a huge game for both teams. I think because of that, SKC will be up for it a little bit more. But the Timbers, they're the reigning champions of the West right now, and it's time for them to prove it. I think we start to see it a little bit more here, and the Timbers win this game. I'm going to go with a high-scoring 4-1 draw here.
4-1 win for the Timbers?
Timbers. Yeah, sorry.
All right, not 4-1 draw, because that would not be possible.
Did I say draw?
You did say draw. That's fine. Anyways, so I think you're underselling SKC a little bit there. So SKC, they've won 3 straight, and they can jump Portland in the standings with a win here, though they will have one more match played. I just think it's a little too late from SKC. Fun fact, though, SKC has 4 wins and 2 losses in their last 6 matches. Each of those was decided by 1 goal. So they're keeping it very, very tight, and that's how they've climbed back into this playoff race. Having said that, I still expect Portland to prevail here, but again, it's going to be much closer. Portland, they got back to winning ways at home with a 1-0 victory over RSL last weekend. I was there. It was a good match. The win was important, but I think even more important was the shutout. That was their first clean sheet in 6 matches across all competitions. They only have 1 more road game all year, and I expect them to continue to sort of build their momentum that they're starting to get to really jump back into the playoffs. Picking up 1.8 points per game at home. They're scoring 2 goals per game and only conceding 1.2, so they're a pretty good home side. Again, I predict 2-1 for Portland. Homemade shots based expected goals. This one 1.75 to 1.25 in favor of Portland. Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you so much for being here and listening to us yammer on about MLS. Sal, thank you for being here. He expects some more screwy results in MLS, and he also expects all Western Conference teams in front of the Galaxy to drop points. I don't know about that. Sal,
is he a Galaxy fan or something?
He is a Galaxy. Yes, he is a Galaxy fan. I don't know why I can't speak, but yeah. Well, good luck to, I guess bad luck to the teams in front of the Galaxy from Sal. We'll be watching. It'll be an interesting weekend, and hopefully NYCFC drops points because we are Union fans. This has been Quick Kick Picks presented by Bros Talking Soccer. Thank you for watching. Sal, thank you for being here. Christian, one last thing. Sorry. Go to our website, brostalkingsoccer.com. If you want to support us and what we are doing here, you can buy us a shot. You can buy our merchandise. All of that is available on brostalkingsoccer.com. It's linked in the video description if you're watching on YouTube. Having said all of that, Christian, anything else you would like to say?
Let's go get some matches played.
See you, everybody.